Let me hit the start recording button. You're still streaming, right?
Correct.
So, we are back with another episode of Wu-Tang Tactics, episode 3? We're on 3 now, right? I lost count.
Correct.
How did I lose count after 3? Which we are covering patch 1017, one of the shorter patches that probably has ever came out for TFT and in general on both League of Legends. But here we are again. If you don't know, I'm Joey Slayer 19. I don't stream as often as I used to, but when I do, I'm streaming League of Legends TFT, trying to hit Diamond TFT. What am I at? Where am I? Plat 3? Yeah, Plat 3 at 40 LP. On the other side, I have good old Velocity, who is 2 accounts in Masters now? NA Masters?
Yeah. Basically the same update, just trying to feel out, I guess, what is good. But yeah.
Feeling out while being angry at yourself.
True.
So, a lot of tiny changes when the patch first initially dropped, right? With the introduction of a new galaxy called Manatee's Delight. All players getting a spatula at the start of the game. Kind of interest. I don't know how to. I don't, all the emotions possible I feel when I think about this, but while binary star got removed.
Yep. So I actually am really happy that binary star got removed. It is, and I think the community as a whole is also really happy because amongst everyone's 2 least favorite galaxies at the moment, it is actually binary star and dwarf planet. And Mort also went over that dwarf planet is getting removed next patch. So things are actually about to get a lot happier, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, and then once that removed, there'll be a new least favorite, I'm sure. But I was not a fan of binary being limited to 2 items as pretty scuffed.
Yeah.
I mean, it made Cybers really good, but that's like the only benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, cybers really get a lot of benefit from even having one partial component. So, you don't get some things like a 3-item vein, but a 2-item vein, depending on the items, is going to be pretty good on that planet. So that being removed is pretty, I think, has a positive impact on the meta.
I think so too. It just felt really bad. You had to like double down on offensive items, so you had to go like one offense, one defense, which did not feel
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
The new galaxy, Manatee's Delight, offering a player a spatula is a little bit triggering for me, but also comes with a lot of different play styles that can come along with it.
Yeah. What's been your experience with that galaxy so far?
I will say, in the one game I played where I did hit 9 Star Guardians
Okay.
was in the Manatee's universe. Now, if it wasn't that universe, it wouldn't be possible, and I probably ate it, like probably a 7th place in that game instead of a 2nd or 3rd. I think I ate a 2nd.
Um, I I've actually played a decent number of uh, games on this patch, and to be honest with you, I forget that we even have it because unless we talk about it, I've actually had that galaxy once, and I'm pretty surprised that I've only had it once.
Uh, I don't know. I think you have to, like, if you get lucky too, you get another spatula, then you got like a free force of nature, which is like kind of not helpful, or like you can double down on like 2 blades to hit the ideal 9 blades, or battle cast 8 battle cast. And 8 battle cast with 1,000 healing is haven't seen it, but still kind of nuts.
The I will say, the one time I've had it, it was basically super dense. because we got the free spatula, and on the 2-1 carousel, it was an all spatula carousel, so it might as well have just been super dense but early.
Why even have that
So
galaxy? That's
yeah,
pretty
I
unfortunate.
mean, it was honestly super dense. Everyone made a force of nature, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. That'd be interesting. If somebody opened up with Battlecast, maybe they doubled down. But maybe I'm only that kind of player. The only thing that really scares me about this galaxy that it opens up the possibility of Blade Master Zed, which hasn't been touched much because Master Yi is like so overpowering in comparison. But
yeah,
a
with
lot
that
of
comp specifically. Sorry, go ahead.
I would say a lot of people pivot to it, or I've seen it often in the game I played.
Yeah, it opens up that possibility. Like, instead of needing to high roll a spatula and a sword, you just need the sword at that point, right? And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are already, if you're running that six blade master Yi comp, then you're basically already inting for a second bow. So like you have the option of, if you get that galaxy, to go for the sword or to get a second bow if you already haven't, right? So you get
Right.
six blade masters much earlier by getting to make the blade master spatula in that galaxy.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's the only thing that really scares me the most, since Yi kind of got a tiny nerf the patch before, and then Zed, I think, got buffed 2 patches before that. So it might have been last patch. Yi got nerfed, Zed got buffed, but that's the only thing that really scares me. Uh, Moving on, you got tiny changes following along with Titan Resolve only taking 25 stacks and Hand of Justice healing being cut. The only time I really see both of these items is when they have nothing else to make, or on mechs, which we'll touch on mechs a little later.
Yeah, actually, I think one interesting thing that the casters were saying as I was rewatching the VOD in which I was doing Fight Night Rising, it was casted by Crone and someone else this week, but the 25 stacks
Oh, that's a huge
is
change.
actually, yeah, I mean, so each stack increases, if I remember correctly, armor and MR,
And I believe
and
damage.
yeah. Oh, yes, that's correct. So getting to 25 stacks before you activate, I guess, the
The max
Titan
stacks.
Resolve items ability, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to hit the max stacks, it's actually cut in half.
Right.
So it's actually like a nerf and a buff. It's a pretty good middle ground, I think, which is a pretty good change.
I think it's a change that was much needed for that item, especially on, like, if you slap on a Vanguard, something that doesn't have extreme health.
Yeah.
Uh, Snipers, the world's tiniest nerf I've ever seen for a general trait.
Yeah.
1% for 2 and 2% for 4. Like, it's just so rare to see snipers unless you're running Astro snipers still.
Yeah. One of the main goals with this patch, as Mort was saying, was that um, since Worlds is going to be on, you know, going to be affected over the next few
Patches,
patches,
yeah.
they're aiming to make small changes because the meta's in a pretty good spot, which I actually support a lot. Like, um, the goal is to make every comp pretty viable so that, you know, the guy who wins worlds didn't just run mech every single game because mech was busted, for example. So I think these are some pretty reasonably good small changes.
Yeah.
This small sniper nerf being one of them.
Yeah, because I believe next patch is the patch that they'll play Worlds on. TFT Worlds. Or the Galaxy Championship, whatever they're calling it. Whatever they're going to call it. We'll go by it.
Yep.
Other than that, some units seen some tiny buffs, tiny nerfs. Oh, like Master Yi here eats another tiny nerf. Nico, level 3 Nico ate a nerf. Cassio 3 got a buff. Blitzcrank general armor went up 15 points, which is pretty big, I think.
That's massive. Of all the changes, that is...
I think the Riven changes were pretty massive, too.
Yeah, but, like, I think Blitzcrank has more armor than, like...
I believe he's just as much as Master Yi now by base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Gangplank eats a tiny nerf again, which we probably saw coming.
Yep.
And Xerath tiny buff. So, I mean, just a lot of small changes. I don't think anything noteworthy besides Blitzcrank base 15 armor buff and Riven changes. Which I think they both really needed it considering they're chrono units and only slots into like other comps as a second choice, not the primary.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, a couple days ago, with the mid-patch changes to mechs. Now this one was gigantic. This was a gigantic nerf that we have all been waiting for. Or especially me, if you watched the last episode. I was crying.
Yeah, you're talking about the Mech hotfix on the 20th, right?
Yes.
Okay. I am ecstatic that actually, so what I wanted them to do in the mid-set expansion was to just, when they said they were going to remove champions and synergies, I actually wanted Mech to be one of them. Like, no joke. I hate Mech so much. You could give me 3 Fizzes, Rumble, and Annie in one shop, and I would still never pivot to Mech.
You're insane. Everyone would have done that, especially before this change.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems like it feels like a dirty win just because like you had a good shop and then you play a mech, and when you need to reposition the mech, you just have to move one unit. If you want to switch the mech to the right side, the left side, or the middle, you just have to move one unit, and then you basically play around with like the back line to see where you want certain units to jump on and stuff. It didn't feel like a clean win. It just felt like so dirty that I could never play it.
Yeah, agreed. I actually uploaded a video before this change. Like, it was probably a few days ago, and I pivoted into Mech Pilot. I was originally going to go Battlecast, and then half my lobby I think was going Battlecast. So then I pivoted, halfway through I pivoted to Mechs. I literally won the game with Sorcerers, by the way, because I had Victor. I literally won only because I hit level 2 GP, I hit Mechs, and I have a level 2 Victor. That was it. I literally had a level 1 Fizz and Annie for the entire game, and a level 1 Victor the entire game. And I should have not won that game. No joke. I won that game because of level 2 GP, pretty much, and Mechs.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, GP.
I think what I call that video. I said this should be impossible and illegal. That's what I called it. Dude, it was so dumb. Like, I should not be able to like contest with a literal level 2 Rumble, level 1 Annie, and level 1 Fizz. That is a level 4 mech. Face tanking. Late game stuff. Like that it shouldn't be possible. I'm sorry.
Busted. Yeah.
It shouldn't be possible.
I agree.
And I didn't even realize, so I went back and edited. I had a level 1 Victor the whole game. A level 1 Victor.
Yeah.
That should not be possible.
You know, sometimes you're really focused on the one most important unit that you need. You kind of gloss over the other ones that you also need.
Well,
right?
at the time, I was like, oh, I have level 2 Victor. I shouldn't need to buy Victors, right? And then I go back and watch the VOD, and I'm just like, oh my god, I had a level 1 Victor, and I didn't even notice because BP was killing everything.
It's definitely hard to notice when let's say Victor's already doing the most damage on your team, or GP's
I was
already
gonna
doing
say
the
it was
most damage
GP
on your
that
team.
game.
You just roll past it because you're feeling like you're looking for other things, but you pass over the one unit that you thought you already had 2-starred, right? So
Hey, I was just
I was
trying to hit.
actually
Just hit, bro. Yeah,
yeah.
that game was filthy.
The mech pilot nerf went into effect 40 minutes before I did the Giant Slayer Fight Night Rising. And so people who were used to running mech up until that point and were still running mech,
Oh, got dumpstered.
they I mean the wins that I pulled, I still lost some rounds with 2 Giant Slayer red buff Jinx. But for the most part, you could feel it being a lot weaker.
That's good. I haven't played it since these changes because I didn't even realize it until I pulled it up right before we started this. I mean, it's still mind-boggling. Like, the 2200 base health to 1500, that is 700 HP just cut. Like, that's insane. Of the mech.
The base health.
Yeah. Then the 50%, I mean, plus 50% of the pilots switched to 65% of the pilots. But, I mean, with this, I mean, especially, well, I mean, the mech attack damage is affected too. 160 to 100 base. And then plus 50, 160 plus half of the pilots to now 100 to 65% of the pilots. So now it really relies on you on hitting the level 2 and 3-star mechs, as I think it should be.
Yep.
Like a high roll strat, like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it was the much needed gutting or kneecapping that it needed. Because for the longest time, this patch and last patch, until this change, I felt like there was no counterplay to mechs. No counterplay, even with Giant Slayer.
Yeah, sometimes you just really wish the mech doesn't have a QSS, so you just Zephyr the mech, and that's equivalent to Zephyring 3 units. Or you really hope to just burst down the mech early enough. So since I run a lot of Jinx, I hope to just I depend on the blaster procs, getting 2 kills on the back line, or Gnar ulting the mech away from Jinx, so that Jinx can like get excited, and then hopefully with 2 Giant Slayers, which I've actually built a lot on 2-star Jinx, 2 Giant Slayer, red buff Jinx to just burst it down quick enough. Yeah. The other trick to it, honestly, is like Jinx's auto attack range when she walks up to the mech. If the mech is facing Jinx, she's actually in ult range, which is a little frustrating too. So the mech has to be like facing away from Jinx to have Jinx not get ulted by the mech. So it's kind of tricky to play around the mech when you're playing Jinx, but it can definitely work in your favor.
Yeah, the only success I ever had is fighting around the mech, like using AoEs or Aurelia, like base tank, like with running cybers, like Aurelia, like having BF and Giant and Bloodthirster and Last Whisper, and then she's basically like base tanking, like just somehow managing to out tank the mech, and that's like the only 2 ways I've ever had. Or Infiltrator Aurelia with Echo, but that's like the only success I've ever had besides just getting face rolled. So
yeah,
like I said, I played mechs literally that one time, and oh my god, I was like, this is going up. this is illegal. This is not this should not be a thing. I mean, having level 2 GP does help, but the mech should not be able to face a level 4 mech should not be able to face tank that much damage that I had. I think I've only had like a Bramble and a QSS, and that was it on him. Mm-hmm. It was just disgusting.
Yeah. Pretty powerful mech.
I mean, other than that, just the mechs finally getting kneecapped. I think meta-wise, I don't think it really changed that much at all, if any. I think just about any strat right now is pretty viable. I think they're all pretty balanced. I don't think there's any one comp to abuse to climb.
Yeah, I mean, you can just like any other patch. If you learn the ins and outs of a specific comp, you can you can still one trick a comp, but it's not like you're one trick forcing the strongest meta comp and getting a bunch of wins that way and then climbing up to challenger.
Right.
I honestly think, and I might be wrong here, but I honestly think if we got these mech balance changes prior to the OCE and TFT qualifiers, that it would have affected some placements like Mismatch Socks, whose scores were 2-2-2-2, could have affected one of his second place finishes, but it also could have affected the OCE representative who won the qualifiers to move on also, right? So the mech changes were big, but a lot of the other changes related to patch 10.17 were pretty small.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I felt like when you're that high in elo and you're consistently like there, I think the way that they're gonna approach the game or way to play it, I don't think it's gonna change. I think the players obviously have a different skill base and attack that they qualified. I mean, obviously when TFT Worlds comes, what, a week from now? Yeah, almost a week from now. That I mean, obviously, maybe we'll see mechs, maybe not, but obviously it's not going to be as prevalent. Unless they felt like buffing it.
Yeah.
But, which I doubt, but I hope not. I hope not.
You know what comp is surprisingly feels strong right now?
What?
Star Guardians.
Agreed. I felt like Star Guardian Sorcerer, really good spot, especially if you can hit 9 Star Guardians like I was messaging you about. Oh, dude, that was such a wild game. Like, mentally, I was just like, there's no way I top 4 in this game. I'm at 8 HP.
Mm-hmm.
I hit 9 Star Guardians, hit 9 with spats, by the way. And I'm just like, I literally went on a hot win streak where I went from 8 HP, set like bottom at the lobby, to second. I think second or third. I have to look on the shows, but I did not stream or record that game, unfortunately. I wish I did.
The interesting thing about the comp is I was speaking to one of the NA Grandmaster players about this in a Simple Plan stream. The guy who went to the OCE NA qualifiers through winning the TL tournament. The first week that they had it. This specific person, his name is X Keep Colin. Kind of a funny name, but yeah, like it's interesting because the old way you used to play it was you try and get blue buff for Syndra, or at the time Seraphs, and then you prioritize Syndra items and then frontline items. But according to him, which kind of blew my mind, and it works out pretty well, is that you go for a belt start and you prioritize a Warmogs on Nico, because Nico, with even just a second protector, is gonna 1v9 for Syndra to ult multiple times, whether she's got a blue buff or not.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and usually those items you put on Syndra. So usually the items you put on Syndra now, it's better on Victor.
Yeah, and so you can still run Syndra carry, and Syndra does just insane work at 2-star. I lost to it a few times in Fight Night when no one really knew that Star Guardians were that strong. But the guy who won Fight Night that night did Star Guardians at least twice. So it's a very 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 strong. I think
I think it's good. It's
even
underrated.
underestimated. Yeah,
But I mean, if you're gonna go Syndra carry, I think they usually run Gunblade with a blue buff. And Gunblade, regardless on Victor or Syndra, is so crazy.
hmm
I think like the shield you get with Gunblade is just intense. It's like the shield of one like face tanking one ability. I love Gunblade so much, but I think Gunblade's shielding needs to be cut down a little bit. Because I think
Yeah,
I think it caps at 400, and I think ideally it'd be better at 200. But that's just personal preference. That's just what I think.
Yeah, I've seen Syndra's basically almost die, but on the third or fourth ults, just heal all the way back up and get the overheal shielding just by being able to ult one extra time. And then by then kills maybe an extra 2 units, and then ults again and kills another 2 units, right? So it's definitely really, really good item
Yeah,
on Syndra, considering how often she ults.
In that game, I ate a third. I lost to the Blade Master comp because it was a Manatee's Delight. So it was that the Blade Master Zed with Yasuo and Yi.
Yeah,
and then the guy who ended up winning the game ran the Peepa comp.
Still strong, by the way.
I don't that comp is. I don't quite understand it, but I think it's a little nutty. Just a little bit. I mean, even though it involves around the 5 cost units, which you have to really diligently play the game to not kill yourself to get to that point.
Yeah. The most successful times I've been able to hit it were just by hitting Bard early. Hitting Bard early and also being able to win streak.
Mm-hmm.
To get to 9 at like the end of stage 4 basically, as opposed to like 5-2 or whatever. You need to fast 9 because the trick is if you need to roll at 8 to stabilize, that's because you're on like 30 HP and
you're in trouble at that point.
Good units. Yeah.
I watched St. Vicious do it a couple of days ago, and I'm just like, he's toast. If he's rolling down at 8 to try to play the Peepa comp, this is not going to work.
Yeah. It usually doesn't because it depends on too many 5 cost units. But once it gets online, like you honestly really can't stop it, honestly.
Right. I didn't realize this, but I've only played 65 games on this set. I didn't realize this till now.
Nice.
Because I haven't looked at my LOL chest in a long time. Since definitely before this set. On set 3, I think I had like 300 games played. Maybe 400. I had way more played. This set I've just taken a seat back. No pun intended. Played some here and there. Trying to grow YouTube, but that's another story. Well, we got probably one more patch to go, maybe, because maybe this Thursday. I think, do they release one this Thursday? They might. If they don't release another patch, this will be the patch they play Worlds on. If they do release one by Thursday, probably by Thursday, they will probably play on that patch.
There's at least one more patch coming. The patch that needs to remove Dwarf Planet.
Yeah, it's probably Thursday then. Either Thursday or Wednesday. One of those 2 days. And that'll be the patch they play Worlds on for September 3rd and 4th.
Right.
Which they've gotten all the finalists now done. Korea just finished theirs up. I think this morning, actually. They just finished theirs this morning.
Yeah. Have you paid attention to the players or kept up with other regions players? I feel like I'm pretty disconnected with most of the rest of the other regions where TFT is concerned. And I've really only paid attention to NA, probably EU, and then I only know who Obo is because of winning the
Oceania.
NAOCE qualifiers.
Yeah, I don't know anything besides general play styles. Like China,
Sure.
China, China likes to like play super aggressive early, kind of similar to their
Yeah.
League of Legends style, and then just try to like snowball the game from there. Usually, if it's like set two and or like the beginning of set three when they had that big play in, or just like a casual play in, like they were pivoting around Space Pirates pretty often. I don't know if it was just naturally worked out like that, but that's what they did. Europe, I don't really know a whole lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, similar to us. Besides, but somehow, I think their mid game or like their pit, like the mid game strats are a little different. But I mean, to be honest, between an Oceania, reroll or die, and then some of these smaller regions like Turkey, Latin America, Brazil, Japan, I really don't know anything besides that they have a seat. Looking at this, and then Korea. I'm trying to think. Korea's a little different than most. Korea likes to like scale it up, build it up. They'll
Yeah.
take that
So
hard or losing streaks early if they have to. They're not phased by it usually.
actually, I actually heard that Korea likes to spend more of their gold early to win streak versus, and I've heard that NA's playstyle is like a greedier playstyle. Like the way we play is that we, are willing to sack HP and potentially hit the 50 econ max interest marker, and then sort of push level 8 or even push level 9 and then roll down and hit units. But like China and so like, and what I heard about China is that they actually like to roll on 7, which I obviously don't support, but I'm also an NA player. And then Korea, uh, someone on the Korean server, I think, came up with the Caitlyn reroll comp that you like to run very, very often.
Yeah, but that's a high roll comp too, though, which which is kind of like, because like Korea's kind of like that weird in between like China's aggressiveness and then like Oceania. Like they're kind of like the in between.
Sure.
Like they're more.
Sure.
It's more calculated aggression. That's what it is. That's probably it's more calculated. They won't rely on high
Yeah.
roll, unless it's like
Yeah.
looking good. Like if they're hitting like 5 Caitlins before first round, they're going to. I mean, it's still not a
Sure.
bad comp. It'll get you top 4, but it won't win you games. I don't think it will.
Right.
I don't see like win streak the whole game. But I still find it interesting that because of like everything going on in the world, the players are going to be competing remotely from their home regions, which I find a little weird because what's like the best time for everyone to to stream it and to play it?
Yeah. That's also an interesting one because Riot is doing the same thing for League of Legends Worlds, which is a completely
I
whole nother story.
I thought for League of Legends where they were doing like the NBA bubble situation, except they're just gonna have it in China, like Shanghai, China, for a month.
Oh, really?
I believe so. That's what I last heard.
Okay. I might be wrong then. I stand corrected, but um, the yeah, I mean, having everyone play from their home region is like what server do you pick, right? And then after that, it's like who's affected because latency, while it doesn't really affect TFT as much as it does Summoner's Rift, the the higher ping or latency actually affects carousel rounds and overall timing and like where you think the item's going to be, and so it could actually in turn affect the results, or maybe the best player doesn't win because they were affected by lag or latency.
Yeah, but I mean, determining who is the best player in TFT has always been such a hot debate for anyone for any set.
Yeah, and I think our NA resident players are the most vocal about it for sure.
That's because ego means everything. But everyone, I'm sure if I go on Reddit and just type in like best player TFT, there'd just be a whole. It would just be a rabbit hole of like subreddits. I'm afraid to even bother looking it up. But
Yeah, true. And for the most part, a lot of people's top five are the same five, I feel like, but maybe in a different order.
right. I mean, do you know how the format for Worlds go for TFT Worlds?
I actually don't. I haven't read up on that, but
So
I should before the next podcast for sure.
Well, I'd say I'll touch on it here. But basically, if anything, I doubt it'll change between now and then. But since it's such a small patch, it might as well. So basically, on day one, there's 16 players, right? They're going to be split off into two groups. I don't know how they'll do it, but I imagine it'd be like a draw or just randomly generated somehow. Split off into two lobbies. And each of those lobbies, they will all play 5 games, and there'll be points awarded based on their finish in each game.
Okay.
First place gets 8th, and second gets 7, third gets 6, and all the way down to 8th, who gets 1, right?
Okay.
The 4 players with the most points from each lobby will qualify for the final lobby. Alright, so that's day 2. So day 2, he took the best 4 from both lobbies, put them into one. So in day 2, using a slightly different point system, but similar, so they'll just keep playing games and games and games until a player hits 18 points, and once they get the 18-point threshold, they have to win the next game afterwards. So you basically have to win it out once you hit 18 points.
Okay. That actually seems pretty fair.
So, I mean, essentially, a guy could win the first game, get second in the second game, be at 18 points, but then never win a game again, and just end up losing out like that.
True. Or you play like 4 games, and I don't know how the math might work out, but you play 4 games, and then on the 4th game you hit 17, and on the 5th game you win or something. Right?
That won't count. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Count. And then you have to win again.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be pretty unfortunate, but it is possible. It is very possible with this point system.
Right.
Yeah.
The way I see the groups working is because, okay, EU actually got 3 spots. And then the OCE and A.
I would say because EU got tied in with a couple other smaller regions. But yeah.
Oh, right.
EU got tied in with the CIS, which is Russia servers, and the Middle East.
Okay. 2 of the really, I guess, smaller servers.
Well,
but EU is big, right? Because they've got two
EU West, EU East, and then Russia, which is kind of like one of the bigger minor regions that they would say, smaller regions. And then the Middle East is probably the smallest or smaller region. I mean, the only region that's probably smaller than them is Japan, arguably.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, they all got kind of tied in together.
I would see it as like, okay, like when they're making groups, like maybe like one group wouldn't get all 3 of the EU and EU and friends regions, right? Like maybe 2 of them are in one group and one's in the other, or they wouldn't make like, the OCE NA, like we had 2 spots, right? One from OCE and one from NA, conveniently how that worked out. And I imagine the 2 of them like get put into different groups, right? Kind of like how Worlds works for League of Legends, like 2 NA teams can't be in the same pool type of a thing.
I guess they could do it like that, but it just seemed weird considering this is more of an individualistic game than teams or representing.
True.
I mean, I guess they could do it like that, but I think it'd be weird. I think it'd just be better just to like RNG it, name draw, and that's like, oh, they're in Group A, they're in Group B, and A, B, and then be done. Just randomly generate it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all individuals representing themselves. I don't think. I mean, sure, region pride could be on the line, but in comparison to League of Legends itself, it's like nothing. It's like nothing. I couldn't think of a way to compare it. But yeah, that's a week from now. I don't think they've announced when or how or what time they're gonna do it.
Yeah, some
unless you know, because I don't.
Somewhere. Someone's going to be playing at like
midnight,
1 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like game 1, right? And they might finish game 5 at 6 in the morning, and right, they're like, but if you accommodate for that region, another region's going to have to give their right. So some region's going to have to give somewhere, and it just depends who.
This is going to sound crazy, but maybe there's a way they can like systematically figure it out where based on their timing, like if they stream too, like based on the timing of play and in what region, like time zone wise, they can like maybe formulate a crazy way where they somehow like almost, if not majority of them are playing at the same time, like in the world.
Yeah, or even if it's something like, Russia's playing at 8 at night, but in NA, our players are playing at 9 in the morning, right?
Right.
Like not unreasonable times for either region.
I mean, essentially, we're playing at the same time, just different time zones.
Right.
Same with Korea. Korea is playing about the same time too. They're 12 hours different from us. No.
Yeah.
13. Sorry, they're 13 hours different, but close enough. Depending on which part
of Korea. The
hardest
is going to be for Obo, who's 15 hours different from NA, depending on what NA time zone you're in. But
from Turkey.
OC.
OC. Damn, he's
Australia.
Oh wow, way out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine it's for us. It's probably going to be we're probably going to be the one playing at midnight. I imagine, based on the grouping of these regions.
Yeah, which is fine.
It's
nothing new for gamers, anyways. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say because I think for our inner player, I think he plays at night, anyways. Yeah. I can't remember if he's a morning or night person. I'm pretty sure he streams. I even forgot his name. But
who?
The NA player that qualified.
Mismatched Socks.
Oh, he's a morning person. Never mind.
He's one of those people who's really, really good at the game, but also works a 9 to 5. So I suspect he's doing something like taking the next day off from his actual job to be able to participate in Worlds, or it's on a weekend and it just doesn't really affect him. But most of his streams are, as I've noticed, I don't see too many of them at night. They're usually during the day, going into the night, rather.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a day person. That's going to really suck for him, but he's probably just going to use his vacation days, whatever.
Yeah.
That's going to really suck.
That's okay. Actually, if I was in his position and I had the chance to compete, you know what? Like...
Yeah, for thousands of dollars. Might as well.
Yeah, like, you know what? I'll take 2 weeks off and I'll prepare and then play and then hopefully go back to work the next morning and boast about it.
I was going to say minimum. I mean, just for showing up and playing, he gets $5,000. Minimum.
True.
If he makes top 8, he gets 11. At least 11,000.
Okay.
So, I mean.
Nice. Decent pool.
I mean, that's a pretty good reason why. But
yeah, I agree.
Just for showing up, I mean that's still better than showing up for the fun of it.
Yeah, you could show up, be a for fun player, and get 5,000.
Yeah, except that wouldn't be good for the first ever NA for fun region gets knocked. Just doesn't even make it to the finals. Feels bad.
True.
Or Oceania. NA or Oceania. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how they're gonna break this world's down. That yeah, in the League of Legends world, I believe they're just gonna host it in Shanghai the whole time for the month by LAN, of course. But Shanghai was the only region that would even consider doing it.
Mm.
And if I remember correctly, to make up for it, I think, provided what's going on in the world a year from now, I can't remember. I think they were gonna host it in North America next again. That's what it was. Because a lot of people are complaining this is 2 years in a row that China gets to host it, but it's just like, well, nobody wants to host it besides them. Considerably Shanghai.
Even pre-pandemic, this year was projected to be in China, but it's basically been like EU, Korea, China, and then it was like something weird. It was like EU again, China again, and finally it's going to be back finally.
Right.
That hasn't been here since 2016, which I attended, and it was a lot of fun. I would actually go to it again.
Dude, that was a hyped year. 2016 was crazy.
It was nuts.
That was when SKT won their 3rd championship, I think it was.
Yes.
In a 5-game series.
Yeah, that was the best 5-game series I've ever been at.
I think that was like after groups, like the way the playoffs, or like the way the bracket broke down, the knockout stage was so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was when they whipped out the MF support against Cyro, Rocks Tigers, and SK. Yeah. And then I think it was Misfits and SK, and I predicted Misfits to win that game, and they went to 5 games, and they didn't win. I was so upset.
Was that
I almost big brained it.
Was that?
I was hyped
the
on Misfits.
Next year, right? 2017.
What, with the Fervor of Battle Leona?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Ignar playing.
Yeah, Leona with Tristan.
And Blitzcrank and basically playing off meta.
Oh, it was 2017?
SKT was prepared.
I thought it was the same year.
I might be wrong. I may be wrong.
No, it's the same year. But, dude, I was so upsetty. I was like...
Those 2 years get confusing because Samsung, Galaxy, and SKT met again in the finals that year.
Yeah, except Galaxy won that one.
Yeah. Yeah, the result was different. But the teams were the same. And then Samsung didn't change their roster at all, which was pretty neat.
Yeah, they had the same roster for a long time till last year. Yeah, a year ago. After that year, they won the championship. Because I think Ambition retired. No, did he retire?
He did.
Yeah, I was going to say, he did retire.
Crown came to NA.
Right.
Core JJ
came to NA. No, I think Core JJ came to NA. Crown stayed for a split, and then came to NA.
Yeah, Optic.
And then QV just stayed. and then Haru ended up, I think, joining another LCK team. I forgot which team he joined afterwards.
I think it was SKT, and Ruler stayed also, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because that's when he was with Huni on 2019. SKT. Which I think they made it to the finals. No, it was 2018. Huni was on 2018 SKT. I remember now. Yeah, never mind. And then Huni came back to NA after that one. Everyone just left. They just came to NA.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing with Huni is that he needs a lot of resources to get going, and he likes playing carry roles.
Strange player he is.
Yeah.
Which, good news for him. For next spring, he'll be an NA resident, apparently, so he won't take up an import slot for anyone that would want him.
Yeah.
Which is still mind-boggling.
Right.
Still mind-boggling. Yeah, Ignar's in NA too, came from Europe. We had a lot of people that came to NA in the last year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jensen and Birgerson also got residency. Impact got residency now.
Yep.
But, I mean, this year too, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but it was like the year of the Academy players coming up in this split. It was a crazy year.
It was.
Playoffs are
But
still
anyways,
going on too.
Back to TFT. Lots of exciting things, I think.
I don't know what exciting things you possibly talking about. I thought we hit it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there's anything besides another patch and then Worlds. That's all I'm waiting on. TFT
Yep.
Worlds waiting room.
Essentially, yeah.
But other than that, anything else you want to touch up on? Plug in besides your own stream and Twitter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think we hit all the important topics. Our next podcast might be what?
Either going to be
after.
Yeah, it's probably going to be that Monday if the patch drops right before Worlds, Monday, Tuesday, or it could be after Worlds.
True.
Or we might do two separate ones.
Yeah, we can do that too.
We might do two separate ones because they're supposed to the preview for Set 4 is supposed to be out, I think, Friday after Worlds.
Ooh.
Yeah, according to their calendar. So we'll probably do two separate ones.
You know what really pissed me off?
The new set's just Spirit Blossom. Oh.
No, it's called Fates, right?
Like Fire
and
Emblem
they say,
Fates?
The fate of this world is that you get 2 Nico's helps. The fate of this other world is that the backline row is inaccessible.
Just start mixing galaxies together. Fuck it.
Or how about this? My personal favorite. The fate of this world is that every monster drops an orb. There was one actually really important thing, and I'm not sure if it's a joke, but I hope it is. So, Mort put out a tweet saying what the new galaxy would be.
The one replacing Dwarf Planet?
Yeah, and it's called Big Bang. And it's basically treasure trove, super dense, and Manatee's Delight in one galaxy. So at stage 3, you get a free fawn. Every monster drops an orb, and you start the game with a spatula.
Why? I hope. I swear to God, that better not be true.
Yeah, no, he put out a tweet. I saw someone mention it in K3 Soju's chat when I stopped by there earlier, and I was like, "There's no way." So I went to Twitter and I checked, and he did put out a tweet, and he took a screenshot of the description of what the galaxy was going to be, and it was right there. So I hope he's like trolling us, but it seems a little much to have all 3 of those. So in one galaxy, but
especially right at the end of a set, that just seems a little weird.
Right before Worlds,
too.
It does a few things. They're really not introducing anything that new, because they're basically making one galaxy 3 galaxies in one galaxy.
Dude, that'd be crazy. Whatever comps you can pull off from that'd be intense. The creativity would be like off the chart.
Yeah.
You can almost flex and run almost anything imaginable.
I mean, honestly, like, see, Treasure Trove gives you a lot of items anyways. I can't imagine,
or money,
or I can't tell you the amount of times I've just had a dead spatula, but now basically you might not have a dead spatula anymore because you already got a free one at the beginning, right?
If you got a dead spat, you're doing something crazy, right?
I mean, so there are times when it's like spatula, chain, and tier, and it's like, okay, do I make a Star Guardian spat,
or a
rebel
rebel
spat, or do I just make a frozen heart? And sometimes it's like, okay, I'll just slam the frozen heart instead of a spatula item, and the spatula just becomes dead. And I hope at the stage 6 carousel, I get another spatula to make it a fawn, or I get some other component to make that spatula out of. But chances are
you make a rebel spat because you're a rebel player.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that's actually the only update I have for what that galaxy might be.
Well, there's only one way to find out. We just have to sit and wait. But I probably should have said this at the beginning. But hopefully, I haven't tried in this set, but once set 4 came around, hopefully I'll be able to upload this podcast to either Spotify or somewhere, just audio-wise, instead of just straight playing YouTube. Hopefully. Yeah. Which, by the way, I will share a link in his Discord again once it's up, and hopefully I'll figure it out by then. I'm still, but for those of you who haven't, go follow Velocity on his Twitch, on his Twitter. I think it's just at Velocity, right?
My Twitter is TTV Velocity.
Oh.
But smash that follow button on Twitch at Velocity.
That's what it is. I also stream too. My internet's not as good as his, but it's at JellySlayer19. I also YouTube on JellySlayer19. Hopefully I'll get a video uploaded by the end of the day. It's been irking. It's bad when I title the video I'm editing. This is going to take a lot of effort. But
sure.
Other than that, we'll probably catch you guys a week from now, right before Worlds, and then we'll catch you after Worlds. And that's going to conclude episode 3 for us, and you guys take care. Be careful out there.